Right to Remain is very happy to announce that we have launched a new version of the Right to Remain Toolkit website. The Right to Remain Toolkit is our free step-by-step guide to the UK asylum and immigration system. The Right to Remain Toolkit is a free guide. It's for people who want to know more about the legal process of asylum and immigration. That might be for you who are going through the asylum and immigration system right now. You want to know more about the process or a particular bit of the process. You might have applied for asylum or been refused asylum, or you might be applying to stay in the UK because of family or children or length of time you've been in the UK or for other immigration reasons. Or you might be looking for information to help support somebody else who's navigating the legal system. We produce the Right to Remain Toolkit, the guide to the asylum and immigration process, because the legal process is so complicated. It's really difficult to know what you need to do at each stage, what might come next, and what your rights are. We think it's really, really important that people understand their own case, know what their options are, and can take action as early as possible. Lots of people have to make their way through this legal process without a lawyer, without a legal representative at all. Even when people have a lawyer, they're not able to spend as much time as they need talking to them about their case and what they need to do. And even if you have lots of time to talk to a lawyer, it's your case, it's your life. It's important that you know what's happening and you have control over what is happening. The information in the toolkit, in the guide, all comes from experts. The information, the actions suggested that you can take to be in a better situation comes from people who have been through this process, who know what it's like, or who are going through the legal process right now. There's information and suggestions from people who are helping people to navigate that process, from community groups and from lawyers. We're constantly updating the toolkit website because the legal system, the policy, the procedures you have to follow change all the time. But this new version of the toolkit website is a really big relaunch, and it's based on more than a year of speaking to people, of looking at web analytics, of understanding the people who use our website and the people who could use our website. So we spent a lot of time speaking in workshops and one-to-one interviews with people who are currently going through the asylum and immigration system to get a better idea of how people find information online, how they use the internet, and then making sure that our website best match that, so that as many people as possible get the information that they need to succeed in their case or be in a better situation or to be able to better deal with the challenges and difficulties that the legal process throws up. And as a result of all that research, we've made some changes. We've renamed the different pages, the different sections of the toolkit website so that they're clearer for people looking at Google search results, because one of our main findings is the vast majority of people find information online through Google searching. Even if they return to the same website, they will still generally find that website through a Google search. We also used to think about the website and the book that accompanies it as a really overarching resource that people will go through step by step. And some people do that, and some people who are supporting people through the process definitely use the resource in that way. But a lot of people don't use it in that way and are just Googling and coming across the information. So we've made sure that each page of the toolkit stands alone. You don't need to read other pages to understand that page. Although because the asylum immigration system has lots of interlinking stages, we do recommend that people read more than one page. We've worked quite a bit on the language. It was already praised as being a very accessible resource, but we've tried to make it even clearer, that it's really clear that our primary audience is people who are going through the asylum and immigration system, but of course it can be used by very many other kinds of people as well. We've made the homepage a lot simpler. It's just a landing page. It's a page that people might come to find out what the toolkit is. Before, the first page of the toolkit had a lot of words on, so we've reduced that and we've got some lovely new diagrams there as well. If people do want more information about what this guide is, that's all on the new About page of the toolkit. We've done a lot of thinking about how people navigate through the asylum and immigration process, how people might navigate this resource, and we've come up with some new pages. We've got a new page about being appeal rights exhausted in the asylum process because it's such an important stage and there's a lot of things to think about at that point. We've also separated out some of the pages because there's lots of common parts of the asylum and immigration process. So if you're going to appeal, for example, or you're making a judicial review, you might need that even if you're seeking asylum or if you're seeking a kind of immigration status. But there's some stages that are very specific to if you're seeking asylum or if you're seeking a different kind of immigration status. So we've separated out those pages. So there's a new page called Visas, which is about coming to the UK for immigration reasons, and a new page called Entering the UK to seek asylum. There's a new page for if you've been refused after making an asylum or human rights claim, which is different from the page for if you've been refused for making an immigration application, because your options after a Home Office refusal in those different kinds of applications are quite different. We've also got a new videos page to highlight all the videos we have, the animations about the asylum process, the legal information videos we've been putting out over the last couple of years. So we want to make sure that people know that if you prefer to get your information from looking and listening rather than reading, that's all there for you too. So there's lots of really exciting changes, but we also want to make it clear that we haven't changed everything, because the toolkit, the guide, is already really popular and people have shared a lot of amazing examples of things they've been able to do as a result of using the guide. So we didn't want to change everything because it's obviously working. The guide is still a way of explaining the complicated legal process in clear, easy to understand language so that people know what they can do, so they know what their rights are, so they can take action. We also haven't totally changed the look of the toolkit, the guide, because it is well known, it is well used, and we want to make sure that people recognise that it's still that very trusted resource. You might notice we've got a Google Translate bar on the website. We actually had that before launching the new version, but we want to make sure that everyone knows that it's there. And we've tested out with people about how easy they find it to spot that Google Translate bar and to use it. So if you're on any page of the toolkit, you can translate the English language text into your language if it's part of Google Translate. Our testing showed that people could really easily recognise that Google Translate bar because they use it all the time and could understand how to use that. In addition to some of the new pages, we've also got some extra diagrams and we've refreshed the diagrams that are already there. We did think and speak to people about changing the name because the word toolkit isn't that familiar to people who speak English as a second language, and our research certainly confirmed that the word doesn't necessarily in abstract mean things to people, but a lot of people were also very familiar with the word toolkit because of the Right to Remain toolkit. A word that people found very popular was guide, but people also felt that word might be too general. So we've got a bit of a compromise at the moment where we're talking about the Right to Remain toolkit, but we're making sure that we explain it at all possible points that it's a guide to the UK asylum and immigration process. So that if people aren't that familiar with English or if people are translating the page, the word guide should be very clear to people, even if the word toolkit isn't. But for those who've been told about the Right to Remain toolkit, it's obvious that this is the resource they've been told about. So take a look. You should be able to navigate really easily through the contents on the front page, the home page of the toolkit, the contents bars on the side, which have got different categories so that people aren't overwhelmed so much with all the different pages, or just searching within the toolkit, or like lots of people have done, we found just through Google. And we'll finish by saying that as we've kept the name toolkit, we'd really like to share how one person described what the word toolkit means to them. They said, "It's a bag you need in an emergency." And we really hope that this website can carry on helping lots of people through what is a really difficult system to be in a better situation and to get the rights that they deserve. Take a look at righttoremain.org.uk/toolkit.